Alex Pereira claims that Khamzat Chimaev declined the fight. After Alex Pereira defeated Israel Adesanya in the main event of UFC 281, the newly crowned champion was immediately criticized by the top fighters in the division. Unsurprisingly, streaking contender Khamzat Chimaev was one of the first to criticize the champion. Why did closest pals of MMA are enemies now? What is big money deal? What's going on in the fight world? Want to know more? Then what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Hi, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about Conor McGregor fighting Artem Lobov in gym, Nate Diaz big money deal, Islam Makhachev. The closest pals of MMA are now at odds with one another. Artem Lobov and Conor McGregor used to be good friends and training partners. Even more, McGregor selected Lobov as a coach with his first pick after securing his inclusion in the Ultimate Fighter cast. Currently, the two are engaged in a legal struggle, but McGregor wants to turn the conflict physical. Lobov sued McGregor for $30 million after the actor claimed that he founded the Proper 12 whiskey company from which the actor made his fortune. After concluding that going to court was not the best option, McGregor invited Lobov to his gym for some sparring. This week it was revealed that Artem Lobov had made the decision to go to court to pursue what he considered to be a fair share of the profits from the Proper No brand of whiskey 12 owned by Conor McGregor. Lobov participated in Conor McGregor's squad during Season 22 of The Ultimate Fighter, where he finally lost to Ryan Hall in the championship match before going on to enjoy a 7-fight UFC run. McGregor has criticized Lobov on social media rather than keeping quiet and having the dispute resolved in court. McGregor reportedly challenged Lobov to a fight at the Concord Straight Blast Gym, in addition to calling the former friend and training partner a dozen other foul names. In a series of tweets, he demanded a quick turnaround matchup with Pereira in the following year, while referring to the former two division leaders. By the time the fight date arrived and went, McGregor had posted a picture of himself in front of SBG Concord, but it appears Lobov had cancelled because he intended to file a lawsuit. Early on Saturday morning, Conor McGregor answered with a jingle that alluded to Artem Lobov's lawsuit. We at MMA News, after carefully scrutinizing the finely constructed lyrics, have decided to rename the previously unidentified song Artem is a Rat. While many believed that the call to action would go unanswered, Glory kickboxing champion made easy money. Given that the UFC appears committed to scheduling an instant rematch between Pereira and Arizona, the winner disclosed on this week's MMA Hour despite the fact that he had officially agreed to fight Chimaev at UFC 283. Striking contender declined to engage in combat. I went to my manager and said, "Look, I just did a hard weight cut. I can't make 185 for this right now, but tell the UFC I'll challenge him to fight me at 205 at UFC 283. In Rio, Chimaev, they didn't want it. He's a big guy, I'm a big guy. Let's do it at light heavyweight so we don't have to worry about a weight cut." Instagram post claiming that he inquired about facing the champion in Brazil, making Pereira out to be a false champion. The UFC has not yet commented on whether the bout was close to being arranged or if both guys significantly inflated their accounts. Chimaev is currently in doubt because the UFC is apparently in the middle of organizing a fight. Colby Covington versus Chimaev in the world #1 contender match, considering that the streaking contender recently failed to make weight for a match against Nate Diaz. The promotion's potential to land him a job will be intriguing to see. Jiri Prochazka, the #1 contender at welterweight, is eager to establish himself as a champion after making a successful comeback last week. Unfortunately, with less than a month left before his scheduled rematch with Glover Sheriff for the 205-pound title, the champion was forced to withdraw due to a shoulder injury sustained in training. Although it has not yet been confirmed what kind of injury Prochazka sustained. Dana White, the president of the UFC, declared it to be one of the worst shoulder injuries the organization's medical staff has ever seen. In order to avoid holding up the division while Prochazka is out for an extended period of time, he quickly gave up the title. As a result, the UFC moved the UFC 282 co-main event fight between former champion Yam Lovic and streaking contender Magomed Ankalaev to the main event spot, making that contest for the vacant 205-pound title. What the extended layoff will mean for his future in the UFC was revealed by the former champion in a series of tweets, where he said that there are no obstacles, just a chance to view the same path from a different perspective and become stronger and more human once you accept the path of the champion. Or simply be completely honest with yourself, and you will have a deep understanding. Your path lies between what is true and what is untrue. As of yet, it is unclear when Glover and Cerro will return to the octagon. The UFC wanted to keep a 205-pound title fight on the card for UFC 282, so the promotion shelved its plans for a title fight early in the following year. Only time will tell if we see a Prochazka versus Teixeira 2 in the future. The fight with Prochazka was scrapped. Teixeira reportedly agreed to fight for the belt. Paddy Pimblett isn't buying the Jake Paul hype despite Jake Paul winning a decision over Anderson Silva in Arizona recently. Many have continued to question the controversial YouTube star. First, people question the legitimacy of his wins over Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley, with many accusing Paul of paying the former MMA stars to take a dive when Paul knocked Woodley out, which made the MMA community even more suspicious of his wins if Woodley had gone to entire fights with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, one of the finest strikers in UFC history. How did he end up being knocked out by Paul Hall? Anderson Silva, a UFC legend, was next matched up with Hall, and many believed that Anderson would be exposed when the two faced off in the ring. However, Paul ended up winning the bout, knocking Silva out in the 5th round in a move that has drawn significant scrutiny. Many felt that Paul didn't land cleanly on Silva, which only fueled rumors that the Spider was also paid to take a dive. There has been no announcement of Paul's return to the ring as of yet. However, based on reports, potentially next fight in the ring with contentious online celebrity Andrew Tate. Who do you believe will win if the match occurs this year? Please comment in the comments below. Israel Adesanya is optimistic Alexander Volkanovski can withstand Islam Makhachev's strength when Makhachev won the UFC championship by prevailing over Charles Oliveira in the UFC 280 main event. After Nate Diaz submitted Tony Ferguson to end his UFC contract, there seemed to be no end to the possibilities for the former Ultimate Fighter champion. His stock was at an all-time high after he became the first person to submit Tony Ferguson in UFC history. BKFC boss hopeful promotion can sign Nate Diaz. The days and weeks following the fight, Diaz was linked to a potential boxing match with Jake Paul, a potential boxing match with Floyd Mayweather under the Rizin banner, and a WWE appearance after he was photographed at a meeting with the royal couple of the WWE, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Despite that, no formal plans for any of those events had been made. Diaz revealed his intentions to compete in other combat sports before returning to the UFC later. When Diaz's decisions were made, many people guessed what would happen next. Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship boss David recently spoke with Feldman, expressed his optimism that the promotion will be able to sign a contract with Diaz, saying, "Realistically, I want Nate Diaz, but you know, we weren't permitted to make a move for him yet since he was in the UFC window. This partnership I did. When this becomes public in early January or late December, it will have a trailer." There has been no word from Diaz on where he would like to make his first stop after his UFC run, but of course the Stockton superstar wouldn't be the first to sign with the promotion. Chad Mendes and Paige Van Zandt have both completed there, and both claim that they earn more money in one BKFC fight than they did in their entire UFC careers if Diaz does make the switch. If you enjoy our content, make sure you hit the like button and share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Subscribe to our channel to get our videos regularly, and don't forget to click the bell icon to never miss an update. Thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing you at the next one. Until then, peace.